Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, our mission is, well, it's about getting strategic about something you experience constantly.
Emotions.
Exactly, emotions. We want to cut through the noise and give you a framework for understanding how you feel and react. We're definitely going beyond just happy or sad here.
Right, because it's about the whole system, isn't it? The mind, the
But
body.
yeah, your core operating system. So let's start with a big question and maybe take a second to really think about this one.
Okay.
If you had to describe the relationship between your brain, your body, and your feelings, not as like separate parts, but as one single system working together, what would that actually look like? How does it all connect for you?
That framing is spot on
Yeah,
because we often do talk about them separately, but emotions are what tie it all together.
the integrator.
Yes, through these complex internal signals. They involve brain processing, sure, but also physical responses in your body and how your mind interprets everything.
And these signals aren't just background noise.
Not at all. They fundamentally shape how you see the world, how you react under pressure, and yeah, the decisions you make. Big ones, small ones, every day.
So this deep dive is really about learning to decode that internal language.
Precisely. Translating the signals.
Okay, let's make this practical right away. Everyone feels intense stuff when things get real, right?
Mm-hmm. High stakes situation.
Yeah, like a championship game or maybe a fight with a friend or even just facing a big exam. So here's a challenge for you listening. Think about a time, maybe recently, when a really strong emotion popped up and it influenced a choice you made.
What choice? And what was the feeling?
And maybe ask yourself, what was that feeling actually trying to tell you? Maybe pause and think on that for a sec.
Good idea.
All right, so first things first, we need to define the what's. Getting clear on what we're actually feeling is step one towards managing it.
Absolutely. But our vocabulary is often so limited.
Right. We default to mad or sad. It's like trying to give directions using only north and south.
Exactly. You missed all the nuance, all the side streets and specific locations.
And if you've got complex feelings happening, you need better tools than just two words.
And what's really fascinating is that just finding the precise word is powerful in itself. It's almost like a cognitive reframing trick.
How so?
Well, if you just say, ugh, feel bad, your brain kind of stops there. It's vague, mushy.
No clear path forward.
Right. But if you can pinpoint it, if you can use more specific language, you actually start to gain some control. It shifts the neurological response.
So we need to practice.
Yeah.
Build that emotional vocabulary.
Definitely. Think about the huge difference between, say, joy, that deep sense of contentment versus excitement.
Which is more like high energy buzz, anticipation.
Exactly. Or consider something like frustration versus disappointment. They feel different, and they lead to different actions.
That nuance is critical for what happens next. Let's take your example. Say, two players on a team lose a really close game.
Okay.
Player A feels frustration. What are they likely to do?
Probably hit the gym. Practice harder. Frustration often motivates you to push past a block. It's energizing in a way.
But player B feels deep disappointment. That feels different.
Totally different. Disappointment often comes from feeling like something fundamental went wrong or maybe wasn't fair. It can lead to wanting to withdraw, maybe even give up.
So knowing the difference matters. Maybe what you call nervous is actually anxiety.
Or maybe it's not shame, which is about who you are, but embarrassment, which is about something you did.
And when you can name it accurately, anxiety, embarrassment, frustration, you understand the root cause better.
And you can manage the reaction more effectively. Naming it gives you a target, makes it less overwhelming.
Okay, so if we zoom out a bit, you mentioned signals earlier. This connects to a big hurdle people have, right? Judging emotions.
Oh, absolutely. We label them good or bad. Happy is good, angry is bad, scared is bad.
But you're saying that's the wrong way to look at it?
It's misleading, yeah. Emotions aren't inherently good or bad. They're just information, messages, signals from our internal system.
I like the idea you mentioned before we started recording diagnostic codes.
Exactly, like your car's dashboard flashing a warning light.
You wouldn't yell at the light for being bad.
Right. You try to figure out what it means. What's the underlying issue it's pointing to?
So if emotions are information, what kind of info are they giving us?
We can often group them by their function, what they're trying to do.
Okay.
So fear is pretty straightforward. It's a warning signal. Potential danger, uncertainty ahead. Pay attention.
Makes sense. What about anger? That feels bad to a lot of people.
But it's incredibly motivating. Anger often signals that a boundary has been crossed or there's an injustice. It fuels action to correct something,
Okay, so it's mobilizing energy.
definitely. And then you have things like love or connection or belonging.
Yeah.
Those signal safety, attachment, strengthen social bonds. They tell you you're okay, you're part of the group.
But hold on, what about when it's not so clear-cut? Sometimes feelings are messy, mixed.
Yeah, good point.
Like maybe you finish a really tough, long project, so you feel relief, obviously, but maybe also a little bit sad, melancholy. How does the signal idea work then?
That's a great question because those mixed signals are often the most informative. They usually mean multiple needs or values are involved, maybe even conflicting.
So relief plus sadness might mean.
It could mean, okay, the stress is gone, thank goodness, and wow, I actually missed the structure or the sense of purpose that project gave me. Or maybe you missed the team.
So the signal is complex because the situation is complex.
Exactly. And the goal isn't to shut down one part of that feeling, it's to understand the whole message, manage the response so the feeling doesn't just, hijack your brain.
Right, so you don't let the sadness override the relief, or vice versa, without understanding why both are there.
Precisely. Acknowledge the complexity.
Okay, let's dig into a couple of specific examples, these feedback loops. First, let's look at success. Achievement.
That feel-good state.
Yeah, you accomplish something meaningful. You master a skill, win something, get recognized publicly. You feel proud, accomplished. What's happening inside?
Okay, so this is where the brain chemistry comes in. And it's actually more interesting than just feeling good. Your brain releases dopamine.
The reward chemical, we hear that a lot.
We do, but it's a bit simplistic. Yes, dopamine is involved in pleasure, but it's maybe even more involved in motivation and anticipation. And critically, habit formation.
So it's not just the reward itself.
It reinforces the pathway that led to the reward. It basically tells your brain, hey, that thing you just did, do it again. Chase that feeling.
Okay. So it rewards the chase almost more than the actual catch.
You got it. That seeking mechanism is super powerful for building positive habits, learning new things. Keep practicing that difficult skill.
But there's a potential downside, right? The sources mention this.
Yes. If we get hooked only on those big dopamine hits from major achievements,
Like constantly needing the win, the A plus A, the praise.
we can end up on what psychologists sometimes call the hedonic treadmill. You adapt to that level of success, and you need bigger and bigger hits just to feel the same level of satisfaction.
Which sounds exhausting. And maybe leads to burnout.
It definitely can, especially if that achievement becomes your only source of self-worth.
Yeah.
It puts immense pressure on the system.
So here's something to think about then. Can chasing that happiness high, or maybe basking in a victory for too long, actually make us, I don't know, complacent, overconfident?
It's a real risk.
Does it distract us from preparing for the next challenge? Something for you, the listener, to consider. Okay, now let's flip it. Let's talk about anger. Mobilization for conflict.
A powerful one.
It often flares up fast when we feel, I don't know, disrespected, treated unfairly, threatened somehow. In that split second, what's the body doing?
No, it's prepping for battle. Instantly. The sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response, kicks into high gear. Adrenaline surges. Your heart rate skyrockets. Blood pumps away from digestion and towards your big muscles, legs, arms.
So you're physically ready to fight or run.
Exactly. You get this massive explosion of energy and focus. Your body is primed for immediate, intense physical action.
But most of the time, we aren't actually in physical danger when we get angry these days, right? It's more like,
Also social threats.
or feeling unheard.
Precisely. It's often a social threat, a perceived injustice, a violation of expectations. But the body's reaction is still ancient, primal.
So you've got all this internal preparation for intense action, but nowhere for it to go.
Which raises the key question. How do you manage that incredible surge of energy without, exploding at someone or doing something you regret?
The sources really emphasize interrupting that physical process, creating space.
Yeah, you have to break the circuit, create a gap between the trigger and your reaction.
So instead of letting it burst outwards,
You need to channel it, either internally to calm the system or externally in a productive way.
what does that look like practically?
Simple things can be surprisingly effective. Deep breathing, specifically diaphragmatic breathing, from the belly that actually calms the nervous system down.
Buys your thinking brain some time.
Exactly. Or taking a quick mindfulness pause. Just noticing the physical sensations without judgment. Or physically removing yourself from the situation for a moment.
And what about channeling it outwards productively?
Using that energy. Physical activity is huge. Go for a run, hit a punching bag, play a sport intensely. Or even channel it into writing, furiously getting your thoughts out, using the force constructively.
That channeling idea is key because anger, maybe more than any other negative emotion, is pure motivation, isn't it?
Absolutely. If you can harness it and not let it control you, that energy can fuel amazing things.
Like standing up for yourself or for others, fixing something that's broken, demanding change.
Right. It signals something needs to change and provides the energy to do it.
Okay, so we've talked about identifying emotions, understanding them as signals, looked at dopamine and anger. Let's tie this together. Why is it so important to actually talk about this stuff, to analyze our own emotional landscape?
Because doing that, building what we might call emotional literacy, it develops critical life skills. It
Good.
goes way beyond just feeling better in the moment.
Like what kind of skills?
Well, for starters, it helps build much stronger friendships.
Yeah.
Way more empathy. When you understand your own signals, you get way better at reading and understanding what might be driving other people's behavior.
Makes sense. You recognize the frustration or disappointment in them because you know it in yourself.
Exactly. It also helps you make much healthier choices when you're under stress, instead of just reacting impulsively.
You can pause, identify the feeling, and choose a better response.
Right. And honestly, it's one of the best defenses against really harmful behaviors. Things like isolating yourself, letting feelings fester, or turning to unhealthy coping mechanisms.
And it's worth saying again, this isn't just kid stuff. Everyone feels these things. Adults struggle with managing these intense signals all the time.
Constantly. We're all works in progress.
So you're essentially learning crucial life skills early.
And the core tool, the ultimate takeaway perhaps, is the power of naming. Naming your emotion equals gaining control.
Say more about that. Why is naming so powerful?
Because when you can accurately label what you're feeling, okay, this isn't just upset, this is envy, or this isn't anger, this is betrayal, you interrupt that automatic, almost reflexive reaction cycle.
It breaks the spell.
It does. It creates a little space. And in that space, you can choose how you want to respond deliberately instead of just being swept away by the feeling.
Okay, let's make this really concrete. A framework people can use. Instead of feeling like emotions just happen to you,
See it as a sequence you can influence. Feeling, cause, action plan.
so we suggest trying this kind of analysis for yourself. That self-reflection.
Think back to that specific event we talked about earlier, maybe losing the game, getting praise, having that conflict with a friend.
Ask yourself, I felt, name the precise feeling when describe the specific trigger or situation, and I reacted by what did you actually do or say?
And then reflect on that. Was it easy or hard to pinpoint the exact feeling? Did you maybe notice other people in a similar situation felt totally different things?
That comparison can be really insightful.
Definitely. Now, to move forward, try reframing it with a plan. I felt precise feeling because of a specific cause, and I can choose a coping strategy or action to manage this.
I like that. I felt frustrated because we lost by 1 point, and I can use that energy to practice my free throws.
Or I felt embarrassed because I tripped, and I can remind myself everyone makes mistakes sometimes. It puts the power back in your hands. It shifts you from reaction to response.
So maybe internalize this formula for building that emotional strength. You could even repeat it mentally or out loud.
Yeah, something like, I can notice the signal, I can manage the energy, I can grow from the experience.
Notice, manage, grow. Simple but powerful.
And that sentence structure for taking control,
Mm-hmm.
I feel the emotion because the reason, and I could choose the chosen action to cope, practice filling that in.
So wrapping this up, what's the big picture here? What does this all really mean?
I think the main takeaway is that these internal signals, your emotions, they aren't flaws. They're not weaknesses. They're probably the most valuable data you possess about yourself and the world.
Data that shapes your internal world, but also
But also fundamentally drives human connection, how we relate to each other, understand each other, build things together. Our shared emotional experiences are core to being human.
emotions are personal, but they're also universal. They connect us.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll leave you with one final thought to chew on. A provocative one, maybe.
Go for it.
If emotions are always signals, always trying to tell you something important about what you truly value, what signal might you be tuning out right now? What message might you be ignoring that's trying to point towards something really important to you?
Good question to sit with.
Definitely. Thanks for diving deep with us today.